Hi gents, we're going to have a class here on coordinate geometry. The first couple of videos that we were doing was just really stuff that we were revising more than anything else. Whereas this is going to be new material. We're actually very close to completing coordinate geometry of the line already, but there's just one more little thing to do, and it's when you have two lines and they intersect, it's just about finding out what is the angle that they intersect at. There's actually two ways of looking at it. The same angle is going to be produced on this side, but you could also say that they're cutting each other at that angle there. But if you know one, you know all of them. Like if that's 30 degrees, obviously that will be 32, but you can figure out what the other one is very easily. It's just going to be 150 in there. So once you have one, you have them all really. We're going to get the angle by using slopes, getting the slope of a line. So I want to spend a bit of time here talking about how you would get the slope of a line. You already know a few things about slopes. Slope is, what would you have said? You would probably, your first instinct will be rise over run. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing to know. But there are a few ways to get the slope of a line, and I might just talk to you about it. So we'll take a particularly easy one, and maybe just go from there. Let's get the equation of a line. So we'll just say 2x minus y plus 7 equals 0. So you've been told that it's rise over run, and you would also, I suspect, have another way to do it. So you might have been taught, come the junior cert, that there's just a little formula. And the formula that you would probably have used is m for slope for some reason. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now what does that involve? That involves actually having 2 points. So here's a really bad way to go about figuring out what the slope is. It's not bad in that it's not wrong. It's just takes it a while. What you can do is you can just generate 2 points that are on this line here. You can pick a value for x, any value for x, and just say, well, what would y be? And we'll pick 0, for instance. So if we were to stick 0 in here, what would we end up getting? We'd have 2 times 0 minus y plus 7 is 0. Minus y plus 7 is 0. So it follows here that 7 is equal to y. So we would figure that out. We'd say that's grand. We now have a point. The point is 0 and 7. And then we could pick a different value for x. Let's say 1 or something like that. So we'd have 2 times 1 minus y plus 7 is 0. So we get 2 minus y plus 7 is 0. So we have minus y plus 9 is 0. And 9 is y. Okay. You can throw that into the formula now. We have 2 points. We've got 1, 9. We'd call that x1, y1, x2, y2. y2, 9 minus y1, 7 over x2, 1 minus 0. So you end up getting 2 over 1, or a slope of 2. Actually, you can just look at this, and it is worthwhile doing this. You've said it's rise over run. When you say run, we're talking about moving over from left to right on the x-axis. So we've gone on our x-axis, we've gone from 0 to 1. We've moved over, remember it's rise over run. The run, how much we moved over was 1. We went from 0 to 1. How much do we go up by? That's going to be your y value. We went from 7 to 9, so we've risen by 2. And there you go. So actually you don't even need the formula. You can always just look at it and just immediately say that rise over run is equal to 2 just by looking at it. There's another way though I want you to think about this, and this is important because this ultimately is the way I want you to be thinking about these things. I want you to have many ways to think of the same thing. If you just rely on one thing, you know, it can get a little bit tricky. Okay, let's take that formula that I just had, 2x minus y, I think it was plus 7 equals 0. And what we'll do now is we will make a little table out of it, an input-output table, or an xy table. So if x is 0, for instance, what's y? If we input 0, so again, that would just be placing 0 in there. And I think we've already seen that y comes out as 7. If we place 1 in, then just place 1 in there. I think we've already seen that that will be 9. We can make this table, but note that, you know, if you wanted to find out x is 2, for instance, sorry, if x is 2, there's a bit of work involved. You got to say, okay, 2 by 2 minus y plus 7 equals 0. 4 minus y plus 7 is 0. Minus y plus 11 is 0. Y is 11. Okay, there's quite a few steps involved there. It's so much easier instead if you write it in a different way. If you just say 2x plus 7 is equal to y. If you write it as y first, okay, and in fact, if 2x plus y is 7, then y is 2x plus 7. If you write it like this, and you now want to get 2, how much easier is it just to put 2 in there? Okay, that's 4 plus 7, 11. Okay, much easier to do that. Okay, and here's the point. We see here that when x increases by 1, okay, what's y doing? It's increasing by 2. And what is causing that to happen? What part of this thing here is causing that to happen? And it is, of course, this number here. If you increase x by 1, okay, if you go from, let's say, x being 10, so you'd have 20 and then 7, 27, to 11. If x is 11, you've gone from 20 plus 7 to 22 plus 7. So whenever x increases by 1, the overall thing increases by 2. And that bit there is the bit that does it. And of course, that is what the slope is. It's the rise over the run. You're asking, as I move over 1, as my x value increases by 1, what does my y value increase by? What does the whole thing increase by? And the answer is 2. So it's whatever number is out there when it's written like that. So that's why you've probably seen from the Junior Cert, and if you haven't, you should have. You've probably seen this template here. Y equals mx plus c. If you can write it like that, if you can write an equation like that, then however many x's you have here will be your slope. So if we just take an example, y equals 7x plus 5, the slope would be 7. If you've got 2y is equal to, we shall say 9x plus 4. It is not good enough now to say that the slope is 9, much and all as it seems like it. It's got to be y equals mx plus c. So here you would have to take half of everything. So that would be 9/2 x plus 2, dividing everything by 2. Now your slope would be 4.5 or 9 over 2, whatever way you want to think of it. Better to think of it as 9 over 2. Okay, that is how you go and get it. Okay, let's take another tough one. Maybe you guys try this, maybe pause the video when I've written this down. Minus 3y is equal to 5x plus 11. What would the slope of that thing be? Take a second to try it. Okay, here's the answer. You would be dividing everything by minus 3. So you get minus 5/3 x minus 11/3. That's what you get when you divide everything by minus 3. Therefore, the slope is minus 5/3. Okay, that's good to know. And we're going to use that in just a second. I'm going to diverge very slightly, because if you are seeing y equals mx plus c, and if that is new to you, it's worth pointing out what the c is. That can also be useful, maybe not in the exact thing that we're going to do today, but it is useful just in general to know what it is. If you have an equation written out like that, C is going to be something called the y-intercept, or where the thing crosses the y-axis, the line crosses the y-axis. If we just do a really, really bad x and y-axis, mission accomplished. If you have a line here, this particular point here where it cuts the y-axis, I don't know what the y value is. I don't know how high up that is. It might be like 3 or 4, it doesn't matter. But I do know what the x value is for sure. The x value is 0. We have not moved left or right on that point. That x value is 0. And if it is written as y equals mx plus c, when you do place 0 in for x, you just get y is the c value. So there we can say what that is. So if we just use our other example that we have there, all written down, 2x minus y plus 7 equals 0. You got to do a little bit of work here first. 2x plus 7 equals y, or y equals 2x plus 7. We can say certain things. We can say that slope is 2, and we say that it cuts the y-axis. Remember, where something cuts the y-axis, it implies the x value is 0. So we get 0, and when you place x equals 0 in there, you get y equals 7, or you can just immediately say it's that value there. Okay, that's a handy thing to know. Okay, very handy thing to know. That is where it cuts the x-axis, or y-axis, I should say. Okay, let's just go back, because there's one other thing. One little skill that I want you to have as well. Just a very, very fast, now the fastest of all ways, I think. If you are given, and you typically are, if you're given an equation more like this, sorry, my hand keeps moving the screen, 4y plus, I don't know, 13 equals 0. Can we say immediately what the slope is here? And I'm going to tell you can. If you have ax plus by plus c equals 0. If you have x's, y's, it doesn't actually matter about where the number is on its own. It can be on the left or the right of the equal sign. But so long as you have x's and y's on one side, the slope is minus a over b. I'll write that here. That is really, really handy. That will get you stuff straight away. Okay, there's a reason for that, just, you know, as an advanced notion here. If you do like maths, this is y, by would be equal to minus ax minus c. And it turns out that y is equal to divide everything by b minus a over b x minus c over b. And there you have it. The slope is minus a over b. That's why that's true, just in case that interests you. But what does it really mean? It means here, if we know, we'll take this one as our example, we know the slope is minus a over b. In this case, it would be minus a, that's minus 5 over b, which is minus 4. You are expected to write that as 5/4. That's so handy to be able to do that, seriously. Let's just make up a few of these. I want you to pause the video and I want you to try them out, okay? 2x plus 7y minus 4 equals 0. I want you to write down what's the slope of that. I'll do 3 of them here and you can pause then and do all 3. Say x plus y minus 1 equals 0. I want to know what that slope is. So plus 2y. Okay, pause the video there, give them a shot, and here come the answers. Okay, it's minus a over b, minus 2 over 7, done. Minus a over b for this one, minus 1 over 1. You are expected to know that that is minus 1. And this one here, minus a over b, that is going to be minus a minus 3 or 3 over 2. And you can just leave it like that. Okay. Very, very handy to be able to do that. And actually that's going to come in vitally important here, because really what this whole thing is about is, if you recall, is about finding the angle between two intersecting lines. Either one. Once you have one, you've got the other. And we're going to get it by getting the slopes. So M1 and M2, and there's a handy formula in the tables book. It says tan theta is plus or minus M1 minus M2 over 1, I think it's 1 plus M1 by M2. Okay, why are you getting two answers there? Why is there plus 1, minus 1? It's because there is, of course, one answer and there is the other answer. But you don't really have to get both, because once you have one, you'll be able to figure out the other very easily. Okay, I'm going to take an example from your book. We'll go to page 124. It's exercise 7.6. And the two lines that they give us are 3x plus 2y minus 6 is 0. And 4x minus 3y plus 8 equals 0. Okay, we're going to get what is the angle in between them. Just use the formula, and to use the formula you need to know the slopes. So step 1 is write down what's the slope. So again, pause the video. Using what you just figured out, can you get the slope of each thing there? Okay, the answer is minus a, minus 3 over b. It's minus 3 over 2. And this one here, it's minus a over b, which is minus 3. And you are very much expected to call that 4/3. Don't leave it as minus 4 over minus 3. Be confident enough to know that a negative divided by negative is positive. But using that, tan theta is equal to plus or minus m1, which is minus 3 over 2, and subtracted from that is going to be 4/3. And it's being divided by 1 plus m1, which is minus 3 over 2, by m2, which is 4/3. You can of course bash that into your calculator, but I will take a moment just to do this out manually. Don't worry too much about the plus or the minus, we'll get to that in the end. We have minus 3 over 2 minus 4 over 3. To be able to add fractions, you need a common denominator. So it's going to be sixths. This is minus 9/6. We multiply top and bottom by 3. Here multiplying top and bottom by 2, it's 8/6, so it's minus 17/6. That's what we have. Down here, we have minus 3 over 2 multiplied by 4 over 3. Minus top by top, minus 12, bottom by bottom 6, answer minus 2. So we have 1, and then we have minus 2 down the bottom. So we have tan theta equals plus or minus minus 17 over 6 divided by minus 1. When you divide something by minus 1, when you divide by 1 it stays the same. When you divide by minus 1 it changes sign. So we just get 17 over 6. It wouldn't really have mattered about the minus there, because all that we're going to be dealt with is just the same thing, whether it's plus or minus. So we'll get tan theta is equal to, we'll just take the positive version first, and we get theta is equal to tan inverse 17 over 6. And if you type that into your calculator, it says that theta is, to the nearest degree, we were asked for 71 degrees. And if this is 71 degrees, it stands to reason that the other way of looking at it as to what the angle between is, what's that, 109 degrees. So there we go. Those are the angles that the two lines cut at, 71 degrees and 109 degrees. So that's it really. What you're just asked to do is you're just asked to find the slope of each line, and stick it into the formula. And really your calculator will do most of the work there. So it's just about being precise and not making any silly mistake. Okay, we will stop there, but what I would like you to do is I would like you to do exercise 7.6, and I would like you to do questions 1, 2, and 3. Okay, they give you a pair of lines in each case. You get the slope of each one, throw it into the formula, and just find out what is the angle between the lines where they intersect. Okay, gents, I will catch you later. That's a good exercise to do, and actually what I'll do is I'll do a couple more from 7.6 later. I'll make a separate video, and once we have that, we can really just do some leaving cert questions based on it, because that's the level we'll be at. Okay, all the best. Bye.